So I wanted to talk about an article you wrote over the past couple of days. Now you don't have to like give too much out of it because obviously you want people to subscribe to it, but it was an article about Trajan Langdon's like number two, like
Hmm.
maybe his GM. I don't know what we're calling it. I don't know if we're calling it a GM, like vice president, because I know there's a lot of different like languages that people use in the front office, like senior advisor. You had Michael Blackstone, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Is he the lead candidate to possibly come in and work under Langdon?
Yeah. It sounds like from what Shams and I have gathered that Michael Blackstone is going to be Trajan's number two. He won't be have the title general manager. It'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be like vice president of basketball operations, which is, I mean, in my opinion, tomato, tomato, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that, uh, I'd imagine he'd have a lot of the same role responsibilities as the GM. I know he has a little bit more of a background in terms of like working through contracts and stuff too. So I don't know. I don't really get hung up on the title. To me, Trajan's going to be the one I think making the final calls. Well, he will be on basketball decisions. So I think filling out his front office with people who have maybe stronger. I don't even want to say stronger, but people he can rely on in other aspects of being in the front office. I think he's going to do that, and it seems like for Michael Blackstone, that's the case. He's been in New Orleans forever. I've had a couple people out of New Orleans tell me that was a huge hire. It felt huge. I think he's somebody that Griff really liked, and by Griff, David Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a lot of the negotiations out there in New Orleans. Um, yeah, they promoted Bryson Graham before he was promoted to now what Trajan's role is before he was they promoted him to GM, but I think Blackstone was in contention for that too. Um, yeah, I just think he's been very involved in like a behind the scenes guy and what New Orleans has done over the last few years, and it's very clear that Trajan identified him as somebody he wanted to bring over.
Yeah, when I was Googling his name, for whatever reason, Google wanted to give me search results for Michael Blackson from Wild and Out. I don't know why, but I was just like,
That's
nah, I want
funny.
Blackstone. I know I was
I
laughing
mean,
at
you can't. I
that.
don't think you can find a ton on him. Been pretty
No.
low key guy. Assistant. I think he was assistant GM for the Hawks prior to New Orleans. I think he did some stuff with the Cavs before that, if I'm not mistaken. Has
Mm-hmm.
played the background, but from everybody I've talked to, uh, smart basketball mind and brings a lot to the table. Apparently,
The one thing I did find on his LinkedIn is he wrote a whole article about team building and working in an organization, which I found kind of interesting, kind of like
yeah,
being in the war room. Yeah, I
yeah,
was just like, oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. But it's good to hear that he's well respected, and something that I think a lot of fans were kind of harping on is like getting the right people in the front office and trying to get this ship like back in the right direction. So
yeah.
um, you clickbaited me with Tayshaun Prince. I was like, oh no way, but I get it.
I don't choose which photos go. Just so
Hey,
people know. Yeah,
it's
that's
all
not my
good,
call.
man. It's all good. I enjoyed the article. It was very well
Yeah,
informed.
yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's I think a lot of people, obviously, when there's hirings and firings, people get excited. Obviously, I think it would be unfair to say that there wasn't this similar excitement when Troy was hired and Stan Van Gundy before him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the nature of the beast, right? But I think as far as the Pistons go, they've done everything. They've checked every box in a candidate that you would want checked, and that's all you can ask for. He's a guy who's been at every level in the front office. He's scouted, he's played overseas, he played in American soil, he played in the NBA. Has great connections. He's still young, like somebody that's not only could possibly fix what's happening now, but be here for the long haul. So they checked every single box. I think they did what they were supposed to do in this search. It's just a matter
Mm-hmm.
of now you let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, I listened to some old interviews of him, and within the first 60 seconds, he's like, I got to get the person right. I was like, yeah, I knew it. They got the guy. Like, that's just like something that I know Gores and Art are like very high end is getting the person right, getting the before the player. And I was like, oh, yeah, 100%. That's going to be their guy
Yeah,
when they were
I've
going
heard
through
good
that
things.
process.
I've heard good things just about how he approached the interview process. Definitely didn't seem like a lone wolf, like he had all the answers, was willing and wanting to get people around him who maybe accentuate what quote unquote could be his weaknesses, or find people who bring ideas to the table that make him think. So he seems like a very collaborative person. I think that would obviously come from playing team sports and all that, and being a point guard and wanting people to be involved. So certainly I think he sounds like he wowed them during the process, and sounds like Dennis Lindsey did too. But I think Trajan, you factor in the age and his ability and willingness to really make it a group thing, and be wanting to bring different minds in with him, I think got him over the top.